Hello everyone, Long here, and I am going to be taking an early access look into News Tower. When I got into the demo initially, I was just going to check it out and see that it was going to be a fun game. It was going to be like something that, this is going to be cool, like for like casual folks. And I think this is one of those strategy games where you're just going to sit and relax. But as time went on with the demo, I got myself hooked into the narrative and the mechanics and like the driving motivations behind building things as intended. And afterwards, I finally got it. And by the time I wrapped up on the demo, I got hooked, and then I got into the early access. And I got into early access for News Tower. And so I wanted to talk to you about like what got me hooked into it. So first off, let's start with the narrative, which is actually threadbare, but it's just enough to get players into the gameplay loop, which is you spend every week trying to come up figuring out like what news stories to print so that you can maximize your reach and maximize the amount of curiosity to potential like readers out there, possibly subscribers, and then like build your news tower to as high as you can possibly take it. You play the role of someone whose father and uncle used to run a newspaper business, and this newspaper business is going to be passed down to you because of circumstances that happened with your father and your uncle. Your father passed away, your uncle has retired, and your uncle had, but not before leaving you with the newspaper business to own and operate. And so, like, as you get into the thick of it, you realize that not everything is what it seems to be. You're basically told into that your uncle had shady dealings. Who has actually worked, got into bed with the mafia, high society, and even the mayor. Now the newspaper is drowning in debts and in scandals, and your goal is to try to wade your way, dig the newspaper out of it, with the hope that you'll restore the newspaper to its former glory, because that is what your father and your uncle were aiming for when they first started the newspaper business. All of this is just done in the service of introducing you into the gameplay loop, which is to manage your newspaper stand. Well, not exactly a newspaper stand. It is actually a tower, a building tower that houses your newspaper company. And your goal is to try to generate stories that will lead you to developing a very successful newspaper company. In your gameplay loop, you are going to figure out like who do you need to add on to your news tower, and then you also need to manage the building, and you need to be able to find reporters that are competent enough to take on stories that will ultimately catch the eyes of potential readers all over New York. So you start off on Manhattan Island. You eventually work your way through areas such as East Village, Wall Street, and I think there's some Coney Island type areas. You even navigate your way to a stadium, airports, and everything else in between. There's just a lot to. So like for a game that is priced, like around $20 US, I actually thought that there was a fair amount of content, and I believe that the developers did a really great job introducing the core mechanics of what's necessary at this stage. It is early access, which means that this game is incomplete, which also means that you're only going to play like a slice of what's available. But what you do get are the core gameplay, and you get to enjoy that for quite a long time. The game itself will allow you to play for up to 1932. You start off in 1929. You developed this newspaper over the course of many years, and but you play in weekly segments. I had dealt with many issues that came to my newsstand. My news tower. If I anger the mafia, I'll have I'll have gangsters trying to rough up the place. If I mess up with the populace and if I anger them too much, the protesters will show up on the bus from the bus and will effectively block my entrance to the news tower, so my reporters can't get in to the building to deliver stories. And if I mess up with the wrong politicians or major social figures, I'll likely get sued. So I'll be getting lawsuits. So there's thankfully there are many different ways to counter those. So dealing with the protesters and the gangsters, you have to. It's a matter of hiring security guards at their posts to kick them out. Dealing with lawsuits, I only had 2 lawyers, but the lawyers, I believe they do well enough of a job, but I don't know that they can handle more than maybe one case, because I kept on getting sued, and then I kept on getting bled money, like my earnings from my paper worked so hard to make. and that's a real shame. That being said, I think that with a little bit of tweaking in these areas, I think that it can be done a little bit better. Maybe there is a way to upgrade some of these figures so that they can take on more than just one case, at least from what I can tell. But the security, I think that they were designed well. By the time I had finished my playthrough, I had 4 security posts, and they generally did a good job of cleaning up 6 to 8 the gangsters at a time, and with very little damage done to my newsstand from that point on. The protesters aren't really that bad of a deal, especially as long as you have at least 4 security guards, because you can run into big old pockets of protesters who will ultimately hinder your reporter's ability to enter the building and deliver their news stories to the folks assembling the articles. Overall, I really had a great time just enjoying the game. But when I wasn't busy managing my staff, I was actually also busy managing the building. I got to a point in the game where I was building up too much. I got up to maybe 5 levels of the news tent. I built up a 5-story news tower, and then I ran out of electricity. So how did I power up that? How did I power up? Eventually, I was introduced to lighting coal, lighting up coal on fire. So, and that was to power up the power generator in my building. So I totally forgot that this was a thing. I probably did not do enough research about how infrastructure worked back in the day, especially at home. But I guess I would believe that you can generate your buildings with coal, especially with a well-designed. I think it's a furnace. Overall, I really did enjoy my time with this game. I am really looking forward to seeing how this progresses. I think the developers do deserve a little bit of a boost in this early access period. I can't wait to see how the game turns out, because I saw that there were a lot of features that were locked off. So I want to see more of what the game has to offer. So I will likely revisit this in a few months from now, 6 months from now. But it is on my radar, so I can't wait to see what more that this game has to offer. So yep, that's it for my early access review on News Tower. If you like what you saw here, please do like the video. And comment on what you liked or didn't like, and if you want to see more awesome content from me, please do consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell. Alright, that's it everyone. Thank you very much, and hang loose.